What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Combat Sports Central. Today we'll go through all of my favorite bets of Yadong Song versus Chris Gutierrez for tomorrow's card. And we'll start off in the main event. Chris Gutierrez getting his first shot at a main event, a 5-round fight. He takes on Yadong Song, who's had a couple 5-rounders, lost one, won one, but is up there with the top contenders in the division. I have no doubt that this fight has the potential to be an instant classic, and the odds makers are kind of feeling it that way. They have over 3.5 rounds set at plus 100, and if this fight does go that far, with both guys not scared of the moment, both guys strikers who are willing to engage, this has a lot of potential to be a very exciting fight. But I think that the significant strike sentiment that odds makers are putting on this fight is a little bit overblown. They're putting Song Yadong in at 104.5. That's a significant strike line. Song has been in 2 5-rounders in his career, as I mentioned, and averages 80 significant strikes across those 2 fights. One went to the 5th round, one went to the 4th round. Neither went to a decision, so if that does happen, we might have to lick our wounds on this one. But as much as I love this fight, this line, when I first saw it and playing the under, when I'm hesitantly going to make the play here because he almost hit the number in 2 of 3 3-round fights. He did against Casey Kenny at 105 and then nearly against Chito Vera at 101. But if you think that this fight is going to last a little bit longer, to the guys that are going to go against me, maybe fade me a little bit, I think there's a lot less risk in Gutierrez. It's the same odds, but his line is set at 87.5. So if this fight goes on, that's nearly 20 strikes lower. He's hit the number in 2 3-round fights. Again, this is his first shot at 5 rounds, so we don't have any data to put that against. But he is a great striker, and he's willing to engage with opponents. And I like that a lot more than the 104.5 for Song Yadong. But in my opinion, there's more reward here if this fight is finished earlier on. And even if this fight makes it to the 4th and 5th round, we still could see Song Yadong not hitting that 104.5 line. So give me Song Yadong under 104.5 significant strikes. All these lines are brought to you by Bet365. I'm going to go ahead and skip the co-main event. I kind of liked some of the over numbers on the Anthony Smith side. They were really only set at 25 for total strikes, 21 for significant strikes. But even that low of a number, Anthony Smith often doesn't hit that number according to UFC stats, and I couldn't find myself pushing me over the edge to really take the risk on this bet, because all of these bets, when you're betting over unders on a specific number, they're at minus 120, so the implied win percentage is a little bit too steep for my liking. If I was to play it, it would be on an Anthony Smith over in strikes. But then again, you see that he doesn't hit that, and Rountree is on one of the best runs in his UFC career. So I stayed away. Then we get to the next fight, the 3rd fight on the card. A lot of recency bias here, in my opinion, because Nasarat's last fight was an absolute ridiculous banger. And they have his first round significant strike number at 31.5, which is a ridiculously high number for a first round in which fighters are kind of feeling each other out. They don't want to taste the power, especially of a fresh opponent. And 31.5 is 10 strikes, 10 significant strikes more than his opponent. He's only hit that number in his last fight. In his previous 8 fights before that, he has never hit over 31.5 significant strikes in the first round. And he averages only 11.7 significant strikes in those fights in the first round. I love this play under 31.5. If this is a new Nasarat, again, we swallow the loss, but I have confidence in saying he's not going to land 32 significant strikes in the first round. Let me ride with that bet as well. And then finally, the last bet for me is the Andre Muniz versus JunYong Park. Looking at Andre Muniz's strike lines on Bet365, I was interested right when I saw the discrepancy between significant and total strikes. So his significant strike number set at 19.5 over under, and his total strikes is set at 48.5. So a huge discrepancy there. I understand what the market is looking at here, because Muniz's success is going to come from a takedown where he's going to land pitter patter looking for a submission. So he could rack up strikes. But looking deeper into the statistics of his career, he's had 9 fights in the UFC. He's only ever hit 49 significant strikes in 3 of those contests. That's 33%. If you bring that number down to 44.5 for full transparency, you bring that percentage up to 44%. Still odds that I really like to see when I'm looking at making a play. So I'm going to take the under for his total strike 48.5 number. I also like the under in his significant strike numbers. I know that one's a little more risky in my opinion in this spot, but this fight could be done early via a Park knockout, or it could be done early with a Muniz submission. Muniz burst onto the scene with so many submission wins, and they were all quick submission wins. So I really like the 48.5 going under total strikes for Andre Muniz. All of these strike lines are set at minus 120. I'm excited for when these become more mainstream and we start seeing minus 110, minus 111 numbers. But for now, I like the minus 120. We need to hit 2 of the 3 to make a profit. You parlay them all together, you can get in at, you'll get a little bit more than 5 to 1 at plus 516. I don't recommend doing that. Straights are always the way to beat your book, but nonetheless, if you want to go for it, go for it. I'm probably going to put a little penny on it, but just a little bit. And so I really like the plays. But if you enjoyed the video, remember to smash the like button. You can get these lines at Bet365. I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out, guys.